That opens up your senses when you don't eat. And guess what my experience was in that meditation that you did? It strengthens, of course, it balances our chakras, it opens us up, it strengthens our energetic field, it strengthens our auric field, it expands our energetic field and our auric field, and it strengthens our own naturally occurring psionic protection. That video.
You just
But
experienced that from watching the meditation.
just now, the one that you put together with a combination of the bees, and then is that a crystal bowl that you?
I think it's a Tibetan. Yep.
Oh, it's a metal one.
Yep.
I don't know, but the combination of the bees and the bowl, that was my experience. So I think that I need to add that in the comment, because everybody can have that experience too if you just open yourself and you kind of let go.
I was so curious what it is gonna be like to communicate with bees. What is that, when we really drop in, when we're around bees and we're eating honey, we're connected to the frequency of bees. I know you know the answer because you're a beekeeper, but it's like what you just were saying that you connected to the bees and it was strengthening your energy field.
It does that. So it's calming, it's relaxing, it's healing, it's energizing, and it's grounding, and it strengthens our field. Not only our auric field, our energetic field. The more that we do it, the more it strengthens it, the more that it expands it, so it gets larger, and the more that it activates this invisible, naturally occurring protective field that's around all of us. So it keeps us safe, protected, happy, higher vibe, because it's totally high frequencies from the bees. It's totally interdimensional, totally high vibes and high frequency, and it's very healing and therapeutic. So if somebody had something going on, including mentally or psychologically, it's stabilizing and uplifting. Even if somebody was depressed, it helps them to um, sort of deal with that in a way, in my experience, where it helps to let go of certain things, not nice things, including physical and non-physical, and open up to love. And whether you want to call it the sunlight of the spirit or photonic energy that's flooding into this planet right now, because we're the solar system is going through the photon belt in the galaxy, so the frequency is rising, and bees are a huge part of this ascension.
Bill, who we both know, he was saying that right now there's a lot of that. It's not solar flare, it's not. It's sort of a pulse, right? It's something or it's not dangerous. It's not scary.
You could say that. That's one way to say it.
It's affecting us like right now.
Yeah. So the sun, in my observation, and my heart is telling me, it amplifies this energy. So this solar system is moving through the photonic belt in the galaxy, which is basically photonic or light energy that is flooding into this solar system, and it's hitting the sun. The sun is amplifying this energy, shooting it back to us here on Earth, which is totally activating our DNA. It's uplifting us. People that are semi-meditative or spiritual are even becoming more spiritual. Some people even blissed out. Some people that are negative, before this happened, they might be having a harder time.
Or I think that's part of it. I think catalyst. It brings catalysts.
It's like an amplification. It is an amplification. So here's the thing. gut instinct, my heart was telling me. So the bees are so special. There's a guy that I know, and he helped to, explain to me that, or give me another perspective on it, which, sometimes I get perspectives from, outside of myself. And this guy was explaining that the bees are the only fauna that live and reside in every single dimension. That's how special they are. They're so interdimensional. So then, I mean, we do talk about some unusual things here on our channels. So whether you believe in other species or not, like, there's most likely other species on our planet. I mean, then if you think about it like that, we're all not from here. We're all extraterrestrials of origin, and then there's most likely a hybridization program going on the planet. So we all have different cuts and mixes of
A
many different species. Yeah,
blend
there's
of
like
DNA.
there was like maybe a big 12. Now there's like a big 25. And there's even some outside of that, although that's kind of the primary area. And then there's, another predominant species on the planet, whether you believe in any of this stuff or not, take it with a grain of salt. If any of this resonates with you, it might be for you. And if it doesn't, it's just not. So, some people may not believe in reptilians, and some people, may or may not believe that there could, have been or be, to a degree, a conflict between, underground conflict between humans and reptilians. And, my theory is that bees could actually be a bridge between the human reptilian conflict, because their frequency of the bees is so high that I know humans that, get uplifted and get benefits from the bees and the bees products. And, there's different reptilians. There's I mean, it's on an individual basis. There's good reptilians, there's bad reptilians, and some of them can look like humans, or some are half humans, or they're hybrids. I know it sounds crazy, but there's some stuff going on. Anyway, and they're telling me, these products are helping me, and I feel better, and I feel stronger, and I feel happier, and I feel uplifted, and I feel like this is helping me more than anything else, and in a way that I have never felt before. So I'm thinking, if bees can do this, then the bees are a bridge between not only the human and reptilian conflict, which theoretically can end the conflict. So what if the bees were like part of a peace olive branch that could end, potentially, ongoing conflict? And then, one question that I might have for our viewers, I know that a lot of our viewers are also viewers of EA, so that they'll understand this. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them.
With April.
What? Yeah, yeah. So I'm posing this question, and you can respond with the answers, whatever you think, on our Insta, which is liquid gold honey with two Y's on the end. So the question is, why can't humans and the reptilians on the planet, whether they're hybrids or just full on, hatched from an egg underground here, why can't we just join forces, basically? And because we all, were born here. So the way universal law works, if you're born on a planet, it's your home planet, no matter what species you are. So we were born here, no matter what species we are. So this is our planet. So, why do we have to control one another, or, try to manipulate, or try to take advantage of? Like, isn't that kind of the old way? Like, why can't we work together and then get even more stuff done and be even more powerful, and, you know, be friends, and, whether you want to call it comrades or whatever, just sort of work together. So,
Like the
it
bees.
doesn't matter like what species. So our galaxy is teeming with life. I mean, whether you're Octorian or Andromedan or Palladian or, feline or insectoid, there are so many different races and species. And I'm pretty sure we could all get along. I'm pretty sure if we wanted to. So my question is can we? And I think that we can. I think the bees can help. I've seen the bee products help every species, every single species, because the bees are higher frequency than, every species that takes a physical form. Then there's angelic, which is maybe the highest realm, and most likely. I don't know of something beyond angelic, but my research shows that the angels may have been in this solar system longer than any other species, but they're not really a physical form. They can take a physical form on the planet. Although then there's different levels of angels. Although so other than that, so anyway, the bees, in my observation, I see their products and the bees themselves, like we were just alluding to this really cool bee meditation video, that just listening to the bees is uplifting. Their products are uplifting because that frequency from their vibratory inner forces and high forces get into those products,
Yeah,
uplifts the products. That gets into us. That gets into every and all species, hybrid, whatever
that's
that ingests it, that uplifts all of us. So I believe the bees are like part of the peace that we can all have. And I say that we do have. And yeah, there might be some people that watch this that may not like this, or maybe they don't want to be friends for whatever reason, or they like to fight, or they like to be not happy. But, I think that there's another way that we could maybe practice to not fight and practice to be friends, even if like it's kind of hard because maybe you don't trust somebody or but you don't know, but you can practice until you can, earn trust.
until it's
And
second nature. It's
yeah,
the bees are doing this. It's in their nature to create this abundance of nutrients and all this packed in, and it's in their nature just to, we're benefiting off of that, or think about like what could we do as a species that is just without a doubt, without a second thought, we create some huge abundance. And there's a lot of like humanitarian work I think that people are doing.
right. Like just thinking it into existence because
Yeah.
that's how powerful all of us are, even
But
all species
and you were
and all
talking about this
hybrids.
earlier, how, why can't we get along? I think people grasp onto the small identity of, there's not enough for me.
Oh,
I need to, and I feel like if we get out of that, where we're open to the abundance that, rising above all those denser energies comes with,
yeah.
then we can start creating that because there's no grit, or there's no wall, there's no road bumps. We're just, going straight ahead, and we can do things and create beneficial stuff for each other, and experiences, beneficial experiences and communities. And then I hope then it starts to become second nature. Like it's like, oh yeah, we do this all the time. It's like the bees. It's like, oh yeah, we make honey. It's like, oh yeah,
I know. And they take care of each other and they love each other. So they're already in the hive mind. So the bees are already our example of how we can be. And everybody sort of works as one organism. So a hive of over 60,000 bees kind of work as one organism. So only one bee has so much intelligence. The hive together that operates as one organism has more intelligence than you or I most likely. It's just they are absolutely divine. They're absolutely in the hive mind, and we can all learn from the bees and the products that they make. That we can all benefit from that and them, and just get uplifted and help each other, just like the bees help each other. So if I like put some honey outside for the bees to munch on, and one of them gets honey on their wings, the other ones will come and they don't ask questions. They just like help to clean the other bees. And so I believe truly in my heart that we all really can work together and get along and be friends and even be more powerful. for all being like together, as one. So I know that it's possible. I think it'll take practice, and I know that it can be done. So I think that it'll just take extra practice and time and work and patience and holding space for everyone else and being there for people and helping people and assisting people and uplifting people. And somebody needs to talk about something, just being there to let them talk about it, or somebody needs to say something, just be there for that. And uh
Work through,
anyway,
work through what's keeping you from being to that point too. There's a lot of
yeah, work it through.
people that are, and myself included. It's like we're going through these challenges so that we can be just a channel for love, energy. If it's comforting because the bees are so loving, and you're saying like they're helping each other out and not a second thought. It's like that. That's our nature. That's just the
I
baseline.
It's our nature,
We gotta
and
get
it's
rid of
the
everything else
nature of the
that is,
universe.
yeah.
It's the universal nature, and I think just some people and individuals may have gotten disconnected from that, and that's all. So we can sort of practice remembering, and then maybe even help each other remember, which is it's a real special blessing in itself, and like mini mission, just to be able to do that on an individual basis. And the bees are a perfect example for all of us, and their products help all of us.
The bees rule. Yeah.
Yeah, the bees are just so awesome on so many levels. So I'm really grateful that that I got into bee life and beekeeping and honey and the bee pollen concentrate, and helping people this way, through my mission. And if you had asked me this some years ago, I never would have believed you that I would be doing this mission some years ago. Like, because I was just so caught up in everything that goes on this planet, and this was so far outside of anything that I had known. And then I remembered my great grandfather did this, and I could do it too. And there's really no good honey in this country, not in the stores. And because in the store, a lot of times, not even real honey, and people don't know, they don't have the discernment. And there's no benefits to it, little or none, or it could be negative depending on which bottle someone were to buy. So anyway, it's a real special sort of chain of events that got me sort of back into this probably more than 10 years ago now. So I've been most likely doing this for about 10 or 12 years.
So you
And
rediscovered beekeeping from your grandfather, you said?
yeah, my great grandfather
Yeah.
on my mother's side that moved to this country 125 years ago from Lithuania. So I remember when I was a little boy, we had a mountain house in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
He was like he was like 90, and I was like not even 5. And he couldn't speak English, he only spoke Lithuanian. And I couldn't speak Lithuanian, but he basically said, "No, come on, Christopher. Now you stay here." And he would, put his veil on, get the gloves going, get the smoker going, go out to the back of the farm, and he put some smoke on the bees and like took out the best apple blossom honey that I ever had. And I still have a jar of his honey in my cabinet
Wow.
from from over 50 years ago that he harvested it.
Does that
And it's
still
still good.
good?
Once in a while, I still take a bite. It's still good.
Wow.
So we tell people when they buy a jar from us, they automatically get a 5,000-year warranty.
Dude, that is wild.
I
I
know.
I
They
never
found
knew
it in the
that.
Egyptian tombs and it was still good.
So it's got these just amazing properties of
Yes.
antibacterial and
Yes. Enzymes, frequency. The frequency is so high that it sort of protects itself. There's nothing else like it on the planet. It is
that's
so extraordinary. Yeah, they found it in containers in the Egyptian pyramids, and it was still good. from thousands of years ago. It's the only food that never spoils.
I feel like there's so much to learn from the bees.
It they put their frequency into everything that they do. That's why not only the bees are special, but all the products that the bees make, like from the honey to the liquefied concentrated bee pollen that is the highest frequency because it's so concentrated down. Even like the propolis, even royal jelly that the queen will ingest and it helps her. There's so many beautiful products, that the bees make. Even scientists have attempted to duplicate bee pollen in a laboratory, and they cannot.
Hmm.
They cannot, because when one little bee goes to visit the center of flowers all day long to get one of those little granules of bee pollen, which is what we use to make into the liquid bee pollen, because if you eat it like in the granule, you don't really get full absorption. Actually, you get less than 10% because you can't really absorb it. But we liquefy it with no heat, you get 100%. So anyway, the reason that the scientists can't duplicate the bee pollen is because the bees, when they're holding the granule of bee pollen before they get back to the hive, after they've been visiting the flowers with their back legs, they excrete some of their juices onto the pollen sac. Some people call it bee magic, but anyway, flowers in themselves super high frequency. Then the bee's secretion from the bee even higher frequency.
That's
So yeah, so that is not replicatable in a laboratory, and that is what makes bee pollen part of the reason so special. It's from the flowers, extraordinarily beautiful and high frequency, and then the bees, highest frequency animal on the planet. I mean, their frequency is so high, that's how they fly, from their frequency, predominantly not their wings. Their frequency is so high, they start vibrating, they start levitating. They use their wings to steer. Then they make a buzzing sound, bzz, makes like an energetic field around them. So they basically float from flower to flower. I call it organic quantum mechanics. It's fascinating. And this is through the bee's frequency. I know. And their frequency is in them, it gets into their products. If you are around them, which I know sometimes we make these cool bee meditation videos, just listening to this frequency is uplifting, it's detoxing, it opens the chakras or foci, it strengthens our auric field, it strengthens our energetic field, it expands our auric and energetic field, it adds and amplifies our naturally occurring invisible protective fields around all of us, which right now, there's so much stuff going on spiritually. We all need to figure out how to amplify our protective fields. Because, I heard someone that I'm taking some courses from right now, Dr. Robert Gilbert, PhD, super interesting. He's been a United States Marine Corps instructor for nuclear biochemical warfare engineer, and he has been just really getting into things that most. He's basically been not only practicing the art of subtle energies, he's been getting into all of the ancient texts and spiritual practices into very very you know minute detail. And anyway, he's sort of bringing some things that the Egyptians were practicing back to light, where there's just energy and vibratory forces come from everything, and including the hieroglyphs in Egypt, like different energies come off of them, different energies come from the bees. Some of the energies are positive and uplifting, some of the energies are negative, and now there's different ways of testing these energies. Anyway, the bees super high frequency through
putting out some high vibes.
Yeah, through their methods that they teach of testing. They use pendulums. So in Egypt, did you know that they found more pendulums in the ancient archaeological digs than anywhere else on
I
the
learned that
planet.
from your YouTube video.
Yeah, because you can actually test the frequency of things and test if it's the way that it spins, if it's good for you or not good for you.
That's interesting.
So yeah, if it spins, if you hold it over something, with a clear mind and it spins clockwise, then that's most likely good for you. But if it spins very subtly clockwise, then it might not be good for you. But if it spins rapidly clockwise, then it might probably is good for you. But if it spins counterclockwise, it's not good for you. Anyway, it's very interesting science that he's bringing back to the forefront, and he has a
Because you connect to
great.
those invisible fields, right? That's the idea. Is you're connecting to the. I haven't taken the. I haven't studied his stuff.
Yes. So, do you know how many animals there are on this planet, including plants, animals, insects? Imagine the number is vast. So anyway, according to Dr. Gilbert, just as many animals and species that and different individuals that are on Earth that you can see, there's equal amount of species invisible all around us, and a
Different
lot of them,
things.
yeah, etheric
Oh,
plane,
wow.
and they're invisible to us because they're technically at a higher frequency.
Sure.
Some of them, if your protection is not strong enough, can easily come into your body, manipulate your thoughts and thinking. If they're strong enough, which I have seen this, I used to think it was just in movies. It's a real thing. If it's a really strong being or entity in this etheric plane, it can literally take over a person.
Mm.
And I saw this, it kind of freaked me out because I had somebody that used to help with the business. There's like, hey, I need a place to stay for like a week or two. I'll stay on your couch. I'll help you do work to pay for it. I was like, okay. They stayed on the couch. Then all of the sudden, they started like acting really strange, like twitching, and make a weird voice would come out of their mouth. I was like, wait a minute, what? What's going on here? And I had two other guys, fully aware guys, staying with me at the time that they're like, whoa, what's going on here? Like this
Wow.
is we have little powwows aside. This is an entity took this person over.
Did that person have mental illness prior?
That person did have a history of some mental stuff which may have opened them up.
Right. It could be a little gap,
Um,
a little hole in the aura. I think.
is that what that is?
I
Or how
think.
how it could have gotten in?
I think in our psyche we have these kind of like blind spots, and like you said, like these beings are always interacting with us, and our energy body has got to be a higher vibration because we can't see it,
Sure.
but they can see it, and so maybe they
Yeah.
can read that information, and then that's how they go, oh, this guy likes to overeat. If I get him to overeat, he's going to produce
Right.
this juice, and I'm just going to stick my straw in that hole and suck a, you know,
Yeah, no, and then they take the energy.
yeah,
But this
yeah.
person was saying some things in this different voice that they would never have said.
That's a whole
And
nother, that person, yeah.
no, it
We
was a
gotta work on
very
our shields,
strong
man.
entity. Even one of the guys that were staying here, he barricaded himself in one of the bedrooms. He
Wow.
put one night because it got so weird. He put the dresser in front of the door. He's like, he's like, I can't.
He put the
So the
dresser in front
next
of his
day we
door and
had to,
locked the guy in there.
we had to just get rid of the person because it was
Yeah,
it was
dude, that's crazy. People are
because
vulnerable.
it was not good for us to be around that. So, but at least the people that were staying here, they helped me to sort of like gracefully, help them to exit.
That's nice.
Um, yeah, so that was nice, and I never heard from them since. So hopefully everything's okay. But that might be something that they contracted before they came into this life, or something that maybe they need to deal with. Um,
So
for
because you
whatever
can't
reason or
hang with
some
the
lesson.
high vibe either. If
I
you're
wonder if they're conscious of it. Like, I wonder if they know. Like the person that got taken over, if they
No,
know
dude, I don't
that
know.
that
I feel like they
that they
don't.
got taken over, like I wonder if they're conscious of their voice changing and then this different voice coming out of their mouth. Like, are they both conscious of each other? I don't know. I mean, I knew that I don't know. To that level, I didn't think that it happened outside of movies. I thought the movies were exaggerating, but it was not an exaggeration. That is a real I saw it go down in my house just like that
You just
in the
take
movie.
a jar of honey and you dump it on that guy's head, and
Well,
let him
I
calm
said
down
I
and
we
shift
so
his
the way that we
frequency.
some of the suggestions from some of my super intuitive people that were here were like a lot of vitamin C, like just oranges, grapefruits all day. Somebody said fasting,
Fasting.
just because if you stop eating for like 2 weeks, there's nothing for them to feed on. They will leave. Somebody said, "Why do we call the Catholic Church?" Then we're thinking about it. We're like, well, I don't know if they're up to such good things either.
It might be a traumatic experience.
I
No.
don't know, man. And I don't know if they really do exorcisms. Like, maybe like there's one guy in like this one city that's like 85 years old that might even know how to do it, but he probably doesn't have enough energy because I think it is possible. You got to know what you're doing.
So
There's
you guys stayed protected from his vibe pretty well. How did you go
so
about doing
I
that?
have done like certain training. So like I have kind of an impenetrable like field around me. And plus when your frequency's high enough, nothing can nothing can come in.
Dude, that's
So that's
amazing.
another thing. Nothing like that can come in because it cannot exist. So that's another thing. I think that the one guy was a little concerned that had locked himself in the room. For he wouldn't have done that if he wasn't concerned. But I know that's something that I want the people to know. There's never anything to fear ever for any reason. Like fear is something that's just made up. There's
Yeah.
no reason to ever fear anything for any reason. And then the other guy that was staying here briefly, he had been there, done that. He's seen all this before. So we're like, whoa. Like, so nothing bothers that guy. He's just a cool, like, I thought that to be unusual, but
Yeah.
everybody's got their own experiences, whatever that is.
Yeah,
And
staying grounded and high vibe, and if you realize that fear is just the act of fear is just to create more fear, like it's just this pit of despair that's just not needed. You don't have you can learn from lower things, but fear, it really.
no, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to unless you do it. There's nothing to
Right.
fear. So we
Yep.
create our own reality. So what you want, you think of it. And that's kind of how it works. You picture it on your screen, and that's kind of the way the universe works. That's what will come. So
A lot of
anyway,
people
there's
manifesting fears. I think how we got to that fear, how we accepted it, is what we need to be looking at. How did I let that fear take me over? What did I
you
believe?
know on, on that note, there are many abilities. So what if we're only using 1% of our abilities? So whatever, species we originated from, or if we're hybrids, which most people on this planet are, we're a little bit of this, a little bit of this, different percentages for everybody. So everybody has access to basically all the skills of this species, all the skills of this species, whatever their mix is. That's quite a bit of skills. And if we're only tapping into right now approximately 1%, and we have 99% more to tap into, it's kind of exciting to know that there's that many more abilities out there. So, one of the things that I learned not too long ago, that on the surface, especially in this country, but on the surface of the planet right now, most of the things that are holding people back from accessing more of their abilities is not only fear, but they've had emotional stuff. Being just on Earth at this time, whatever childhood or parents or situations they had been through up until now, they got like some emotional stuff to work on. So basically it comes down to this. This is up to all. I had to do this, and it is not easy, but it is something for all of us to do because it's that important. Figuring out what is our deepest, darkest fear or fears in our life or trauma or whatever that is, confronting it head on, facing it, feeling it, staying with that, whatever that is how basically facing the thing that would scare us the most or has or think that it could be, just confronting that, thinking about, just take some time, get quiet, think about what that is, your biggest, deepest, darkest fears, or whatever would make you scared the most. Focus on that, spend time with that, confront that head on until, and keep doing it, whether it's multiple hours or multiple days or longer. Keep confronting your deepest, darkest fear until, guess what? It goes away. And then you'll realize at some point, you might realize there's nothing to fear. And you have the ability to rise above all of it and
Yeah, that's
be the highest version of yourself.
that hole closes. There's no longer an imbalance in your energy.
Yes.
I would add, I've been doing a self hypnosis um, app, Reverie, and part of this process is entering a state of high vibes, like, oh, I feel great, and then allowing, through a process he does in the app, allowing your fear, what is so fearful, like you said, like what's your biggest fear, and seeing it. It's like you climb up a ladder and then you're like, okay, like, and then you can see it from way down there, and you're at this vantage point, and I think that really helps you to just go, oh, it's a scared child, right? Or it's a deep dark emotion that we haven't felt, some little, you know
That
pipsqueak.
sounds like a good practice and exercise.
I'm gonna go
Like
do
very
that.
helpful. It sounds like a good one.
Well, dude, I want to respect your time. It's been a great conversation.
Thank
Very
you. It's absolutely my pleasure.
Thank you for making the time for this, and thank you for
And
what
I
you
look
do.
forward to more. Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
we'll talk in the future, and people can
Beautiful.
leave their comments on what they think of our
Awesome.
craziness in the comments
I know.
section. Cool,
Well,
man.
have a sweet night.
You too, dude. Take care.
Thanks. All right, bye.